Welcome to Dark Heresy, and we're going to do a not yet, no flashback mode on me.
I'm not doing it, you're the one doing it.
I didn't do it, the editor did it. Stop it. Rob in the future. Yet it's happening now, live editing.
Exactly.
That's the power of it.
Exactly.
We're going to tell you a flashback that happened with Jericus Solar Nova.
Oh dear.
Yes, well, it's a sort of flashback. You can blame the Dark Angels for it. Because ever since he was hit by that psychic terror attack on his brain,
The penance stare.
it set off some strange memories from his internal parts, and then he started seeing things. A strange happening that went on with some possible fallen space marines. What? Horus? You shouldn't say that name. And it set off a massive intel report in his Inquisition report that Dark Angel Intel picked up on. It flagged, and they said, "Ha! Quick! Nail him to something. We're going to have to put him under observation. We're going to have to get him in an office." So they did. A load of Dark Angels cornered him, surrounded him, locked him down in a base, and said, "Right, we're going to stick a librarian in front of you and some guards here. Don't try and run." And he says, "Well, I won't run. You've ordered me not to." That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And they try getting into his brain and reading his memories. And they want to extract a very specific memory. But before they can get to the memory they want to extract, they extract an initial memory first. And so we played it all Assassin's Creed Animus style.
Oh, yeah.
We went into Jericus' head, a very scary place, and we extracted a memory from the past. We're now going to present that first memory to you, even though it's not the one they wanted.
So in this particular case, Jericus' memories, the one they particularly wanted, is deeply buried within tons of psychosis. So to extract it straight away would probably destroy Jericus, and they wouldn't be able to get it then anyway.
They have to peel back carefully.
Yeah. Because he is a potent, quite a sophisticated piece of equipment for the Inquisition, to put it one way.
Yeah.
So what they ended up getting was a previous Jericus solo assassination mission. Jericus was sent to deal with Eldar threat. Now, the Eldar are basically space elves.
Yeah.
And now Jericus had a particular target on a feudal world, which is very primitive, if you will. So, lots of swords and crossbows and the like, and feudal type armour. As such, Jericus came across the camp, and he was keeping himself into the forest tree line.
Right, let's set the scene. Right, so we've got a big ravine.
Yep.
It's
There's
quite
a bridge
wide.
at one end.
A long bridge.
Yep.
Crossing it. Jericus is some way down along from that still. He's on the forest side. The opposite side, there's a camp with all the Eldar set up, and the Autarch target.
Yeah. Autarch's basically tactical leader. You could call them a officially high-ranking captain or a commander or something like that.
Now, why are the Eldar here?
They're here to, the Autarch's here to tactically investigate and deal with the human presence as efficiently as possible, because they are going to try and reclaim the world, because it is a maiden world for the Eldar, and the maiden worlds are basically home worlds to them.
Now, of course, Jericus doesn't care anything about that. He just wants to kill his target and go home.
The Autarch has a full squad of Dire Avengers with him, and Dire Avengers are an aspect warrior. They wear lots of blue and white, which is different from the Craft World colours that each Craft World wear. Well, they're not primarily one focus. They have a bit of range and they have a bit of melee, so they're an all-rounder type group.
Yeah, now, on Jericus' side of the tree line, little did he realise it, he's got company either side of him, up in the trees, all Predator style. But we'll get onto that in a minute. So he's lying there, prone, in the foliage. He's got his stealth suit mode activated on the suit that he wears. Very expensive piece of kit he's got on there.
Yeah.
He's put his infrared on, because it's night, and he's just scanning just generally in case there's any hidden stealth elements. He's really thinking, in the camp, is there any stealth elements to the camp that will change my tactical approach on it? Looking for stealth buildings or vehicles or anything like that, because he's not putting anything past his enemy, because it's Xeno. So he's completely working out of not very solid intel on them at all. He's only going on what he can with them. there are snipers in the trees.
Yep.
Essentially. Rangers.
Eldar Rangers, yeah.
And as they scan their guns in on him, he doesn't realise that they're looking his way, but they can't see him because of his stealth, so they've missed each other. However, when he's
kind of funny that
when he's finally got his infrared on and scanning properly, he's picked one up, and then it makes him want to try and find the rest. So he moves really, really quietly and slowly back, and backtracks into the forest and behind the trees. There's 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. So he goes round to the furthest one at the back, slowly climbs the tree, gets up onto a branch higher up than the Eldar is, jumps from the high branch down, well, almost falls, just a slight forward propulsion, onto the other one, sort of grabs his neck immediately and snaps, and lets him fall from the tree, and gently as he can, grabs the gun and takes a look at it, and he thinks, that's kind of better than what I've got, I think. Yeah, that's not bad looking. It's got a lot of penetration on it, and his long las doesn't. It doesn't have penetration like that at all.
No, not really. Not the way this one works.
Yeah.
The more you aim, the better it is.
So he thought, right, okay, I'm going to mark this position. I'll put the coordinates in, and we'll have someone pick this up for me. Bit of Xenotech. That'll be nice. From the branch, he then brought his long las up, and just fired a standard single-shot bullet into the head, because they're not wearing helmets.
Nope.
Of the other one in the tree on the same left side. Hit him on the shoulder pad, bounced up and sort of startled him, and he fell out of the tree. And the combination of that jolt and the attack and the initial damage to him and the fall killed him. Jericus went in, obviously, to make sure he was dead. Stab, 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 and I'll take your ammunition. So then he rinsed and repeated on the other side and did the exact same thing again. Went up, jumped down, fired. So he's basically cleared out the snipers. Works his way across the bridge, doesn't get spotted. Plants a detonation charge at the beginning of the bridge, the middle of the bridge, and the end of the bridge. And then keeps going. So he works his way in closer to the camp. He ends up about 70 metres out. Hidden down in a bush. Again, spying on them. Checking the camp out. Swaps his ammunition over. Whacks a hot shot charge pack into the long las. Finds the enemy he's looking for. He's not wearing a helmet either.
Not wearing a helmet, but he is wearing fancy armour.
Now he's got some sort of like display holographic map
Yeah.
thing going on. So Jericus took a few screenshots of that because as the Imperium and the internet taught him, screenshot or it never happened. So it's really important intel of getting some shots.
Print screen, because we have this idea that Jericus sees in a HUD. heads up display for anyone who's
Conjured by his own
gonna
brain,
get that one.
of course. Yes, he conjures things with his own brain that he sees with his eyes. They manufacture these weird things. I was joking with you. I could see that him ending up putting health bars and things on things he's fighting.
Yes,
I could see him
and levels as well.
Yeah, with the elite symbols around them and stuff. He fires. It hits him in the head as a cold shot, and does a fair bit of damage initially. And they're all trying to, like, oh, where did that come from? What?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah,
None of them seem to notice it.
They're all startled initially. And then he fires again, and it really lands him puts him on his arse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he's took a hell of a lot of damage from that one, and he's almost killed him.
Yeah, at that point in time. There's a second round occurs, and it's like one of the guys has actually managed to ascertain where your position is and manages to get a hit in with a semi-auto fire.
Yeah, the others are kind of firing blindly.
Yeah.
In that direction, hoping they hit something. But Jericus is managed to avoid getting hit, and they then start running at him, don't they?
More or less, yes.
So
they're basically running exact same speed Jericus can move. So Jericus is basically as agile as an Eldar,
we had a Necrarch coming in,
which is basically a squad sergeant, if you will.
yeah, and he was being followed closely by the Ultrarch. And as they both got in, Jericus, it was kind of last minute, just readied just prepped up the one last hot shot charge pack, slammed it in.
Yeah.
This was his last one as well, I think. And just fired it at point blank range right through the chest of the guy. It made a nice big hole right through his chest.
Yep.
And he collapsed backwards on the ground. So that was the target down. So
yeah, two turns in a row, you managed to get Righteous Fury with that.
Yeah. Now this is what I like to call the AB Z's, right? Because we had Phase Alpha for Jericus, which was elimination of the snipers. Phase Beta, which is elimination of the target. Now here comes Zeta. Gets engaged by the what was it?
Sergeant-y type of the aircraft.
Yeah. And,
I may be pronouncing these wrongs, but it's EXARCH as far as I can remember. I can't remember the exact spelling of the
EXA
RCH. It might be Exarch or
Exarch.
something. It's some weird pronunciation that's fanciful for the Eldar.
Well, it'll be Exarch then in that case, probably EXARCH. So he manages to dodge everything he throws at him and does a bit of Spider-Man style banter back at him, that sort of thing. Dodges manages to pull his cloak up so that doesn't get damaged because he rolled 0-4. I rolled 0-4.
Oh dear, here we go again.
Yes, but you didn't roll 0-3, so you can forget about it. Whew. I'm done with trying to get 10 out of 10s. Isn't that right, Brady? Jericus decides... Well, by the way, once the hole was blasted in this guy, his gem, his stone...
Yeah, Spirit Stone.
Fell out.
It captures the spirit upon death, so...
Toppled towards him. He was like, ooh, shiny!
Having that.
Shiny! Goes with my intel, I'll have that. Yoink!
Yeah, if Padraig had been there, it'd been like, evidence!
So
You're not going to use it, are you, Padraig? No, but it's evidence.
Jericus is like, look, just... I've got no bones towards you, alright? So, how about we just leave it now? I've got my kill, we'll depart. He doesn't want it, he's slashing, he's trying to...
He's basically, you've taken the gem, they want to get it back at all costs, you must die.
Jericus is flipping and dodging and doing all sorts. And then he starts running.
And you're facing off against an Ascension level character and you're still able to not get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, he's mad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Really.
But then again, if you were probably facing off against something like a Howling Banshee Ascension level monster with their possible lightning attacks and all that nonsense, you'd probably be getting having 3 melee strikes coming at you.
What was quite frightening is when this just shows just how potentially screwed he was, and when we rolled for initiative, Jericus rolled a natural 10, and he already gets lightning reflexes, so his agi bonus is 5, so it becomes 10, and then you add the natural 10 to it, so he's got initiative, 20, and that didn't cut it.
Nope.
Jericus didn't go first.
They got 21. All Eldar have lightning reflexes and a natural agility ×2, but that would be meaning something really ridiculous is going to happen anyway with that. So instead, I've been following the Black Crusade rules for unnatural stats by having it become a +2, a +3, a +4 instead of the timeses.
Yep.
I'm not sure how high it can go up to in Black Crusade, but it's basically how I've been doing it. So the first 2 rolled 9s, but since that would put them on 19 because of their lightning reflexes, plus the unnatural agility of a 2, they got up to 21. So they went before Jericus.
Right, well. Then he does a runner straight for the bridge. Now he's got each of these detonations on the bridge timed up to a different frequency.
Basically, while you're running, you got the aircraft, the Exarch chasing after you, and he's like swiping, you're jumping, he swipes again, you're ducking. It's like up, down.
Yes.
It's
Now,
a whole comedy roll.
You imagine like you would have the favourite channels on a radio or something, where, digitally, and you could save them, the settings. So he's set each detonator to a different frequency, and he's put 3 of them as favourites, 1, 2, and 3. So now he's commencing with Plan Zeta, which is part of the extraction and removal of self and evidence. So he runs across the bridge, the Exarch's following him, the others get to the bridge and try and get a good shot to fire, and there's shurikens flying across the bridge this way and that way.
All basic Eldar weapon is a shuriken launcher, basically. It's a shuriken catapult.
You keep in pace with him. As he starts crossing the bridge and gets about halfway across, Jericus detonates the first one, which blows up the bridge, and it starts to fall because it's a rope bridge, effectively, with wooden planks.
It's a feudal world.
Across
They're
it.
going to have either rope bridges or stone bridges.
It starts
I
to
decided
fall, and then it becomes an uphill run. When he's and then he's about 2/3 across between the halfway and the end, and he does the middle part, and that blows up as well. And then it's really going, and he does a big leap at the last minute and blows the last one in midair.
Oh yeah.
And this guy goes into a full sprint mode.
Yeah.
Which made his
Which doubles
run,
your movement.
So his run, instead of being 30 like Jericus,
Becomes-
which is fast as heck.
Becomes 16.
What?
Exactly.
So
That's ridiculous.
and then he did all these crazy acrobatic checks.
It's like
flipped
bounce,
over
bounce.
Jericus like Tigger and lands on the opposite side of Jericus. I guess.
exhausted from having to do it.
And Jericus is like, "You really got to show me how you did that, really." And then he starts laying into him again, and Jericus is flipping and dodging all Spider-Man style, but not attacking back. He just readies his Spectre in one hand and readies a photon grenade in the other.
Mm-hmm.
This is a flashbang, effectively, yeah? And so then he backs away towards the edge and throws the photon down, and it blows. And it normally goes a toughness test, but this guy succeeded his toughness test, even though Eldar are really, really low toughness.
He just about passed this one.
And so he was like, no, I can still see you, unfortunately, but ain't for you. Here we go.
Takes another swing. Jericus like dodges it again in fancy ways as he does. Just because Jericus is obscenely
Agile.
not just agile, but dodging. He's got enough life plus 20 to it.
He's like a cat, isn't he? So he's dancing his body over this blade and under it.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, then he's avoided all of that. He calls in a special priority comms channel while he was running across the bridge, by the way.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, for an extraction, and he gave all the proper passwords and stuff and said that he's got special Xeno intel on him. Priority extraction. Password. Solar Nova.
Oh dear.
So let that one go into the channels as a tag word for the intel, and then they're like, "Yo, we're gonna flag that back at HQ, and then back on
Yep.
in the space reserves where they've got it all. They've like, well, HQ just flagged it. Priority channel.
Mm-hmm.
He's not lying.
Oh yeah. It's like Valkyrie dropship inbound to pick you up.
So he's trying to survive against this guy, but then he does another photon grenade, and this one really, it does stun him, and he's all out of it for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And Jericus just walks straight in, pulls the helmet off and throws it behind his head, and it goes into the ravine. Whacks the butt of his gun right into the bridge of his nose, stunning him even more. Punches him in the face. Just grabs him and starts punching him to send him into delirium. And then grabs him in a kind of neck and arm lock. Walks him over to the edge. Waits for the Valkyrie to come in. And of course, at this point, he's got that guy, and they don't know whether to fire, and he's got the gem on him, so his carcass would fall into the ravine with it, wouldn't it?
Yes.
The stone.
Basically, the Spirit Stone works like
So I guess they're not firing at him.
Space Marine gene seed.
Plus, there's a load of smoke all coming up from the 3 explosions of the damn bridge.
Yeah, so there's going to be a major.
They can't even see properly.
Yeah, it's going to be a major minus to the hit rolls they throw to begin with.
Jericus-
Let alone the fact they might hit their ally.
Jericus told them, just roughly coordinate my position. You won't need a flare.
There's going to be a nice little huge one.
Just look for the smoke screen. Just look for the smoke signal.
Yeah, the smoke signal.
It will spell out help.
Yeah. So the dropship, in the end, ends up coming in and
Through the ravine,
yeah,
flying right on in the middle of the ravine, right into where the bridge used to be.
yeah,
Opens up. Jericus jumps in with the Eldar.
and it opens up on both sides, so Jericus can jump in the one side, and the guy on the other side is on a mounted turret on it, and is opening fire on the Eldar Dire Avengers on the other side.
Yeah. And then the extraction's complete. And then they snap back to it, and we're there with the Dark Angels interrogation. And they're like,
that's not what we were after.
Jericus was like, oh, don't you chaps own entertainment vid screens? Why do you have to be poking around in my brain? What are you after? And they said, well, not that. So that's one memory of Jericus unlocked.
Yes.
So we'll see what it is they're really after
Not that Jericus needs to fully synchronise.
at another time, in another video. So until then, go on, you can say it.
I'll see you at the table.